Here we go. That's it. Welcome to the Happy Maths Hour. Toni will be joining us after the break, after the introduction. And today we're going to be talking about games. If you have any problems with maths, if you know anyone that has problems with maths, if you simply want to engage your young learners in more maths, or you yourself want to learn more, the more we learn, the more alive we are. We have, from now till after the new year, we have games every Monday on Happy Maths Hour, and we're going to introduce you to the games and talk about the importance of playing games with your children, with your families, and with your class if you're in school. After the break, we'll be right back. I've just got to find the right button to press. Oh dear. That's not it. This is an eternal problem. That's why, because they don't appear straight away. See you after the break with Toni for games on Happy Maths Hour.
It's time for a show on Relaks Radio. It talks about me and you. It's time for a show on Relaks Radio. It talks about me and you. So listen to us, 24 hours, and let the happiness come to you on Relaks Radio. Tune in to Relaks Radio. Relaks Radio.
Welcome. Let me see. Have we got this? Have I done this correctly? Yes, we're both here. Fantastic. I'm going to do this other bit here. So, oh, look. I kind of like that one a bit better, really. Hello, Toni.
Hello.
Welcome again to the wonderful Happy Maths Hour. And thank you. And well, I'm not going to thank you for joining us because it's our program. So I'm going to let you say hello to everyone.
So it's all about the power of play. So we're going to talk about learning through play, but really, first and foremost, enjoying what you do. And a lot of the time, the children will not think they're actually learning. They'll not think this is a lesson. And so it's games and puzzles.
Yes. And I am just now uploading those slides. I know I sent them to Harry, Toni. I'm just letting you know that I'm uploading them because, yeah, well, it's just me and my ways of doing things. So we are going to introduce you today to the concept of games. We're going to talk about the importance of games, and we're going to play a game.
Caroline, shall we start talking about the tiny tots?
I'd like to, but I'd like to let them know what they need if they're going to play a game first.
Right. Okay. Well, all you actually need for the game that we suggest we all play, if you've got somebody else with you, wherever you are, you too can play it. But Caroline and I will show you. But all you need, just get one piece of paper, cut it up. And you need 9 pieces, and you need the numbers 1 to 9 on your bits of paper. Okay, cards we call them, but actually it can be just paper. So it's the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, up to 9.
I've just got these. I've used a bit of recycling, a little box that came in. So I get some boxes every month that are white boxes. So I keep those and I use them to make my resources for the activities that Toni and I do. So I've actually got card, but paper will do absolutely fine, as Toni said.
Well, number cards, we use them a lot for different games. This is just one of the games, and all sorts of different learning activities. Yeah.
So, yes, please start with the littlies. Let's start because all the activities and resources that we have and the games, there's activities, whenever Toni creates a home learning guide, there's something from the very young to, 18 and obviously plus, because I enjoy playing them too. And I'm more than 18. I'm 40 years more than 18. So,
No. Oh, yes, you are.
I am 40 years, nearly 41 years more than 18. So yeah, so we'll start with the littlies. How do we make maths fun? How do we engage with those little ones?
We're talking about the power of play, and the educational psychologists have researched this, and what they say is one of the best ways to learn is through play. And it starts, actually, I think it starts with small babies playing with water, and with playing in the bath and pouring water from a container back into the bath or into another container. And then when they're toddling around, water play, just give them a bowl of water out in the garden or somewhere and just let them play or jump in it or whatever they want to do. And of course, we go through from that to learning about capacity. I mean, measuring liquids and what it means to talk about a milliliter. And then very importantly, applications of that when it comes to doses of medicine, in terms of usually the standard medicine spoon is 5 milliliters. And of course, in cooking. And so I think water play is extremely important, and you should start very young. And then also playing with sand, which can be on the beach or wherever you can find it, and that's excellent too. And mixing sand and water too, and then water. My goodness, it might take longer to do the washing up with the help of a small child, or if you let them get their elbows in the water as well. But it should be fun for you both.
And you might end up with a puddle on the floor. You might end up with a very wet child. And wait till they start playing with the bubbles.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. But of course, we talked about measuring liquids, and of course there's also cooking. Now, cooking with your children is another brilliant way of actually just doing something enjoyable and productive, because it's all to a good purpose of something nice to eat. But at the same time, they're learning about quantities and measuring not just quantities of liquid, but measuring the mass of flour or sugar or cupfuls or whatever of the ingredients. And they're also learning it, perhaps, because you might say, okay, well, if we're making these cookies, last time we only made 16. What would happen if we wanted to make more? We've got a big party. We want to make lots and lots of these, So scaling up those measurements, so they learn, they're just experiencing it. And while they're experiencing it, actually, it's all getting stored in the brain. It's all getting processed, and it's a really important part of a learning experience. So
then they may not do it consciously, but they're going back to those memories when they encounter things in a more formal environment, and they build on those memories and build on those experiences as they go through education.
Absolutely. And of course, education really is importantly, it's about learning skills. The facts you remember, relatively unimportant, really, because it's very easy to look those up. And anyway, all this storage of lots of facts, computers are so much better than us in computation and calculations and solving equations and all those things. Now, computers, not when I started teaching a long, long time ago, but now computers can do all those things. In fact, when I was young and working in my school holidays and then university holidays, I was actually a computer. I mean, I was personally, that was what I was. And a lot of these computers were women. I don't know why, but they were. And even landing the Apollo spacecraft on the moon, that first Apollo landing, you won't believe it, but the computers they used were a group of women. There's a wonderful film that's been made about that. But now it's a different world. It's totally, totally, totally different. And what we should be thinking about about our children's education is those transferable skills. And they are the skills of being able to use what you know, what you've learned, and apply them to solving problems, okay? And using the technology that's available to you. So that's what it's about. That's what education is, the best education is about.
Hidden Figures, Toni. It's the name of that movie. Hidden Figures.
Oh, Hidden Figures. Okay.
Hidden Figures.
Yes, and in fact, it's a very good movie. Thank you, Caroline. It's an excellent movie. And, you know, they weren't given credit at the time. It was, they were just like the assistants who did the job, but it was an important job, and very, very, well, vital. We'd have never landed on the Apollo, in that first Apollo mission. It would have never landed on the moon if it hadn't been for these calculators, these super women who actually, and they were super women.
They were. Oh my goodness, brains the size of a planet.
Yes. Yeah. No, I don't know. I mean, but we were drilled in school when I was at school back in the 1940s and 50s. We were drilled to do the calculations and to do them accurately and to do them fast. But actually, that sort of drill, it's a bit pointless now, because it's much more important that children have number sense and understand how you operate with numbers. And if they just learn to do it without enough understanding, you might as well not bother. Understanding is what's important. And anyway, what we're talking about today is the power of play.
Play, yeah, let's do it. So just to repeat what I said earlier, we're going to be playing games, actually playing. Today we're going to introduce you to games. We're going to play one of them, and then from here until presumably just after New Year's, around New Year's, I don't know which Monday falls in there, we're going to be playing games every Monday. And this is going to, so if you're looking for something to distract, something edifying at the same time as family fun, we watch the replays, join us every Monday at 5 o'clock London time, and we go and learn, play with us. Come and play with us. Come and play with us. Because we've got a YouTube channel, aren't we? We're YouTubers, me and Toni. And our YouTube channel is Maths Toys, where we find the maths in games and the games in maths. And we're going to help you find that too. Oh, here we go. Oh, there you go, the Maths Toys channel. Toni, Harry's doing his thing.
Yes. I think it's time for our jingle, isn't it?
Oh, thank you, Toni. What would I do without you? Here we go. And I do love this jingle. See you after the break with, very quickly, what are we doing after the break, immediately after the break?
We're going to play the 15 game, and people can play too, and they need their cards.
Need your cards with numbers 1 to 9 or 0 to 9. 0 to 9.
No,
We'll go
0
0
to 9. 1 to 9.
1 to 9.
It's time for a show on Relaks Radio. It talks about me and you. It's time for a show on Relaks Radio. It talks about me and you. So listen to us here 24 hours and let the happiness come to you on Relaks Radio. Tune in to Relaks Radio. Relaks Radio.
Welcome back to happy. Oh, I've gone big. Welcome back to don't know what's happening there.
No,
Yes, that'll
no,
do.
Henrietta
That-
put on the instructions
oh, the instructions.
for this game. Okay.
Where? What do they look like, Tony? Is that this one? Is that it?
Yeah.
No, that's not it.
No,
Where are the
Caroline,
instructions?
there, please don't do anything, because all you're doing is interfering with the instructions. There we go.
Oh, I thought you were saying that wasn't the instructions.
No,
Okay,
we
that
just
is
put
the
on
instructions.
instructions.
So we have the
They do
instructions,
that.
right? Okay, we're sorted.
Yeah.
Right now, I wasn't looking with my eyes clearly. So we're back, and we're going to play the 15 game. Today's all about playing games with maths, because that is a fantastic way to learn, and these games are going to continue till after Christmas. So please join us on the Mondays for this. And Tony is going to introduce us to the 15 game. Get your numbers ready. We just need little squares. They can be cardboard or paper. Squares numbered 1, or rectangles numbered 1 to 9. I've got 2 here.
But you don't actually need the cards. Once you get used to playing this game, it's the sort of game that you can play like I used to play with my children and grandchildren. I used to play I Spy in the car when we had a journey and they were getting bored, so we'd play a game. And the 15 game is one of those sorts of games, because it's very easy to think about. You don't actually need the cards, but the cards are a good prop, okay? And if you're sitting around a table, you might as well be using cards. And you can play this as 2 teams. So, I mean, this can be family fun with 2 teams, and you compete against each other. And so it's 2 teams of 2 players. And you take it in turns to claim a card, and it's yours. The other person can't have it for that round. And then you're thinking all the time, I have to find 3 cards that add up to 15. Okay? Not 2 cards, not 4 cards, 3 cards. Okay? But I've got to be the first person to do that. So I've got to think about what my opponent is doing and stop them making their set a triple that makes up 15. So would you like to start, Caroline?
Yes. I'm going to go 3 numbers. Well, I'm going to go with a super low number. Whoops.
1. Okay, Caroline. I'm going to have 5 then.
You're going to have 5. Tony's got 5. Okay. Feels like countdown. Right. I am going to take. Interesting. Let me. Oh no, I can't. Oh, I was thinking about 9, but that's not going to work because you've already taken 5. What if that's not possible? Oh, I've got 2 9s. That's not very good. I'm going to go with. Okay, so 4's not going to work because we don't have a 10. So I'm going to go with 6.
Okay, so I'm going to take 8.
Tony has 8. Tony, you took the only number that I can make up to 15 with. You're laughing. Tony's laughing. She took the number I needed because I've got 6 and 1s. I've got 7, and the only number I can make up to 15 now is 8. And Tony just took the 8. So she's laughing. So there's no number I can do it with. Well, you see, now I could be. Shall I win it or go or not? I mean, not win it, but shall I take the 2 or not, Tony? Do you want me to
I think you should take the 2, Caroline.
I'm going to take the 2, and that way, and then what's Tony going to do without the 2 to make 15?
I'm going to be in a bit more trouble now. So I'm going to take the 7, Caroline.
Okay. So now this is where I actually honestly get confused with this game, because it's the winner of the first player to hold 3. Oh, so you can hold more cards. You've just got to make up to 15.
Yes.
Oh, so I can have more cards. Oh, but it's got to be 3 cards. I've never played this game correctly, clearly. Okay. Then it's got to be 3 cards.
Not all 4 or 5 or however many.
3 out of the cards that you've got make 15. 3 of them. 3 of them, not 4 of them. I can find. My brain's just decided it's not going to. Wait a minute. I'm going to go with 3.
Oh, Caroline.
Yeah.
You're making out you don't understand this game, but you understand it very well. You've just stopped me making.
I just stopped Tony making 15.
Yes.
Thank goodness. Right. Is there anything you can do there? You've got a 5, a 7, and an 8, and the only numbers still available are a 9 and a 4. No, but I didn't actually. I never have played this game correctly, Tony. I've played it a number of times, and I've never actually played it correctly.
I think you've just forgotten.
Probably. Okay, you've got a 4 and a 9 available, and your cards are
5, 8, and 7. My cards are.
And you've got a 4 and a 9 available.
Oh, I don't think I can do this, Caroline. No, Caroline, I can't do it. But can I stop you? You've got 1, 2, 3, and 6.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, and 6. And with 4 and 9, you're not going to be able to do it either.
No, I either make 15 with 2 or make 15 with 4.
So it was a draw. So, well, you can play that game without the cards, and you can play it with the cards if it helps. And you should play it fairly quickly once you get used to it. And you get a point if you win a round, and then another round, and you keep playing as long as you're enjoying it, and then you just give up and do something else and play another game another day. Now, this 15 game is one of a collection of games. So we've actually got different games in this collection, and they're suitable for different ages. Some of them are a little bit more demanding, but not really. They're mostly suitable for young children as well as older people. And there's a theme. So what we do every time we publish one of these learning packs, AIMSEC publishes one of the learning packs, and you see on that 15 game slide, it says, it's got the URL for Aiming High, which we call the whole website, and AIMSEC is the name of the organization or educational charity I work with. Anyway, our learning packs.
Look, there's a picture. Yeah.
Yes, one of our courses for teachers. What we do is we help teachers, we empower teachers, and they work with thousands of children all over. Well, we've done it in other countries too, but mainly we work in South Africa, in the poorest communities where the schools have not got any resources, but they have very, very few and very large classes. So these are wonderful teachers, and we give them a lot of help in order that they will give the children a better education. And the whole aim of the game is to give those children a better chance in life and a chance of a better job because they've had a better education. So that's about AIMSEC. But I was actually telling you about what you will find on the website, and they are each collection of activities. We call it a learning pack. Now this slide, which Harry has put up for us, this one shows you if you're not in a car and just, well, it's a matter of whether you're in a car or not, if you're watching it rather than just listening on radio, I'll describe it for you. It's about the Aiming High app, the aimsec.app. And you can download everything we have to offer. And that's a huge collection. And you can use it offline. And then whenever you connect your device to the internet, it will automatically update. So you get all the new stuff as well. And in the lesson activities section, you find each lesson activity is a collection of activities we call a learning pack. And it will, the guide that we provide, the home learning guide, will provide different activities for different ages, right through from 4-year-olds, preschool, right up to school leaving. So there's something for everyone there. And of course, there's also notes for teachers, which specifically help teachers with the actual lessons in school, but whether you're running, whether you're doing this at home or some after-school group, the home learning guides are designed for you. The other thing we should talk about, Caroline, is junk.
Oh yes, we like. Well, that's what I've been using. I've been using junk, and the other thing is to mention for the littlies when I've got the dots on the back.
Yes, if you've got littlies, preschoolers or 5-6-year-olds, then the cards with the dots on mean that they can count up to 15, and they don't need to sort of recognise and add up the numbers. And we've got some more cards there with Caroline showing us with words on, because there's one of the games in this collection has got words rather than numbers.
And I've got cards here that says another game, it's another activity. So I've got different types of triangles, and it's just out of little boxes of biscuits or cereal or whatever. So we do emphasize planet-friendly use junk, but also we work with communities that don't have resources, and so you can take advantage. You can still do the activities, and Tony's very careful, very conscious about creating activities that can be done with junk, so that it opens it up to everybody.
We'll say a bit more about that after the break, Caroline.
And yes, thank you, Tony. It is, oh, there it is. I got it. See you after the break. So what are we doing very quickly after the break?
We're going to talk more about junk.
Oh, we're going to talk about junk. That's what we're going to talk about. Thank you.
Playing with it, playing and learning by making the learning activities from junk.
Perfect.
It's time for a show on Relaks Radio. It talks about me and you. It's time for a show on Relaks Radio. It talks about me and you. So listen to us, 24 hours, and let the happiness come to you on Relaks Radio. Tune in to Relaks Radio. Relaks Radio.
Welcome back to our math games themed Happy Maths Hour, which are now between now and the New Year's. Every Monday we will be playing maths games because we are YouTubers, and the activities that Tony creates for the Aiming High. This is our Maths Toys YouTube channel. The activities, these all have some really very useful activity packs that go with them, including a home learning and inclusion guide, which makes it accessible to people who are learning at home, whether it be homework, whether it be have to stay at home because of COVID, or whether they are home educators. And so we've been talking. So we're going to be playing games between now and after Christmas. every Monday from 5 to 6 London time. And we are now, it's our junk
Just
session.
let me say about that also, Caroline.
Yes.
Apart from the Mondays, AIMSEC has a Facebook page, and every day, not just every Monday, but all 7 days of the week, there'll be a different game. And so if you go to the facebook.com/AIMSEC AIMSEC South Africa, AIMSEC SA it is, you will find, because it's the holiday time now, I'll be posting a different game every day. There it is. You've got on the screen, if you can see it, you've got the URL for the AIMSEC.
It's also in the description. So if you come back onto Facebook, if you're not watching on YouTube or on Twitter, you can. It's in the description, so you can just click on the link, click, and boom, there you are. Daily activities.
And today I put the 15 game on. Yesterday we had a game which we'll show you later on, and that was incredibly popular. And it's about fractions, and lots of children find fractions really, they say they don't understand them and they can't get these calculations right, and they hate fractions. And Caroline had a recent experience, didn't you, Caroline, with a young man that you're tutoring?
I did. Fractions have been a real problem, and this young man is in secondary education now, and he still hasn't. He's 13.
Oh,
and he still didn't understand fractions, and I have been doing this and that and the other, and finally we played this game, and oh my goodness. And well, he really, one of the things he really wanted to do was beat me. That was a huge incentive. We only played it for half an hour the first time, and there was a massive difference between and all you had to do was look. Now there's a chart that's on the screen. If you're listening, you can follow the link in the description. The description does have a link to the what's it called? The dice. What's it called? The dice game.
It's roll these dice. It's called
Roll These Dice.
Fraction game. Okay.
It's roll these dice. It's the link that's in the description.
Well, we might talk about it now and talk about junk later, Caroline.
Okay, well we can do. Okay, so you have to just hold on to your horses, hold on to your seats in suspense to hear about the junk. We're going to talk about this game now, but the link is in the description, so you can see the fraction wall is on there, and Tony's going to explain it to you. But for those that can't see it, come onto Facebook, come onto YouTube, and click on the link in the description.
Yes.
Okay, over to you, Tony.
Well, you need 2 dice, but as we were saying earlier, if you don't have dice, you can make something that's just as good, and you can make a spinner. And we do have a slide which shows making a spinner. Caroline's holding something up, but a spinner, you just make it with card. You cut out a hexagon out of card, which is marked into 6 equal sections, and you need a pin, and you pin it down on a flat surface, and you pin a paper clip in the middle, and the paper clip is sort of hooked around the, it's best if you stretch one arm of the paper clip out, and the paper clip's hooked around the pin in the middle, and then you just flick the paper clip and it goes whizzing round and stops, and then you instead of throwing the die, it lands on a number, and that's the number. So it's a way of randomly getting the numbers from 1 to 6, just as you do when you roll or throw a die, and easy to make. And again, these spinners we use again and again on in very many different ways. So either with spinners or with one spinner which you spin twice, or with the 2 dice, you throw them, and then you have 2 numbers, and generally there'll be a smaller and a bigger one. You might have a double. So if you did have what's actually showing on this picture, which is 3 on both dice, then you'd have 3. What you do with your dice what you do with the numbers rather, sorry, is to put the smaller number on top and the bigger number on underneath in the fraction. So if you imagine you got a 2 and a 5, then that's what you've got with your 2 spins, or you're throwing the dice. You've got a 2 and a 5. Then you make the fraction 2/5. So supposing I got 2/5 and Caroline got, well, let's say she got 3/6. Okay, and you might cleverly be thinking now, 3/6, Caroline got 3/6, that's just a half. And surely you might know already that we probably do that that a half or 3/6 is bigger than 2/5. If you're a child who's struggling with fractions, then this chart is there to help you, because you can just count all the fractions that are going to appear in this game from this chart, and you can see which one of you's fraction actually is the bigger one. And of course, if you do get a double, like 1, 3 and a double 3, then the number you have is 3/3, and that's a winner, because all of the fractions in this game so far are going to, well, all of them in this version of the game anyway, are all going to be less than or equal to 1.
And it's really good, because you don't point out where yours is on the wall. You let the person who's learning the fractions find both fractions, not just theirs, but yours as well, and they determine who wins. And your role is purely to double check that they've and just get them to count more carefully, and just generally be a bit more mindful of what they're doing, and maybe give them a little help, but not the no, it's this, that isn't helpful. It's well, okay, think again, because with the young gentleman I've been working with, he mostly really does know a lot of it, but it doesn't automatic for him. He isn't fluent with it, so he has to double, triple think it. But then he does work it out in the end. But the more we play this game, the more fluent he will get at it, and the more he just won't have to think about it. And that's the objective, isn't it? Is it, Toni? Would you agree with that?
Absolutely, absolutely. And again, this is a game you can play in 2 teams. And then the teams can sort of confer. They can say, help each other to find the where it is on the chart. And there again, a good way to play as a family is for the youngest one to actually find it, and in a team, I mean, and for the other ones, because it's just a matter of counting, on the strips, and for the and for the older ones in the team to help the younger one, but not do it for them. Is what Caroline is saying. You actually. Caroline has just done an hour on failing and how you learn best from getting something wrong the first time and then trying again. And this is a case in point. And so this is a game that you can play as team, in 2 teams or for 2 individuals. And it's a game where you need to keep it moving and have each round you get a point if you were the winner that time. But next time you might lose. And in fact, you might lose several times in succession. And so we come again to another of these skills, which is being sports, a good sport. And this is a really important skill, because a lot of small children love to play games when they win. And there can be tears when they don't win. Okay, and actually the best sort of way of reacting to losing is just to take it in your stride and try again and try and win next time. It's certainly not to be grumpy about you losing.
I heard the most wonderful reframe of that recently, Toni, and it is that competition is there to help each other get better. So if you're a competitor, your role is to help the other person get better. So it's for you to do as well as you possibly can so that you stretch the other person to improve. So if you go in with that mindset that it's basically a collaborative exercise where both of you are going to improve, then I think that really, I'll be using that with my grandson.
Yes, I think that's important. And of course, the whole thing about competition is that it can become quite well. We see this in sports sometimes. People can get quite angry with the opponent or with their other members of their own team, and or with the supporters of the other team, and that's really a shame. And actually, I've always had throughout my teaching career, and I started as a school teacher long ago. I've always had a policy to minimise competitiveness and to make a lot about and rather emphasise the fact that we're learning maths because it is in itself rewarding and enjoyable. Because in a class, if it's like who can be the first to solve this problem, or some competition like that, or who can get the highest marks in this test, there are going to be winners and losers. And I don't say I completely have no time for things like these great competitions and mathematical Olympiads and that sort of thing, but I never got involved in it myself because I think problem solving is hugely important, a very important skill, and very satisfying when you see the solution and you found just the solution yourself. But being quick to do that isn't necessarily an important skill. It can be at times, but usually, if you take a bit longer and you solve the problem and other people haven't been able to do it, you've achieved something. So I think we're talking about skills because playing games and doing puzzles, which is seen to be almost the same as a game almost, doing puzzles and playing games is such a good way of learning. And you don't just learn the mathematical ideas, like the fractions game we've just been talking about. You also learn a lot of skills that you're going to be really good to take you through life as a successful person.
Yes, and I had a quote earlier because I was looking at quotes for the Mindset Monday. I had a lovely quote that reminded me a lot of you, Toni. Anyone who stops learning is old, whether at 20 or 80. Anyone who keeps learning stays young.
Oh, how great that is. Well, I have to tell you, Caroline, I have been learning all my life and I look forward to learning every day. But this last few months has been particularly trying because I've been doing a lot online and I've had to learn about a lot of new technology and ways of using it, which has been a good experience, actually. And I think it's going to stand us all in good stead once we get back to the normal life after the pandemic, because I think we'll keep in touch and we'll do things online like we're doing now a lot more than we used to. And we've sort of been pushed into it a little bit by the pandemic, haven't we?
Yes, we have. We've got a comment from Eddie. There's one in Bengali. I can't read it, so I'd need someone to tell me what that says. But Eddie has said competition detracts from, that's not due for another hour, that call. Competition detracts from the beauty of mathematical thought.
Oh, I do agree with Eddie. I think the mathematics ought to be satisfying in itself, and you really get a high from understanding something that you didn't understand 5 minutes ago. It really is it's a very joyous thing to experience, and that's what we want to give to our children.
And on that lovely thought, we're going to go for take our last break, and after the break, we're finally going to get to the junk. We're going to find out ways where you can play games, and basically it means crafts. Junk also means crafts. So for some people, it might be the only way they can participate, but you might choose to do it as part of your crafts activity. So maths and crafts and games, we got it all. See you after the break.
It's time for a show on Relaks Radio. It talks about me and you. It's time for a show on Relaks Radio. It talks about me and you. So listen to us here 24 hours and let the happiness come to you on Relaks Radio. Tune in to Relaks Radio. Relaks Radio.
Welcome back to the junk quarter. Instead of Happy Maths Hour, we've got the junk quarter of the Happy Maths Hour. And I've got my junk here. I can prove it. I've got the stickers to prove that it's junk. I've got bits of sticky tape on there. Go on, Toni.
Oh, we
Over
need
to you.
slide on the junk slide.
Oh, the slide on the junk slide. Right.
Well, yes, we can have with junk, but there is a slide. So what we do
Is it the last one? Is it the equipment one? Is it that one? No, I didn't actually look at these. I was so anxious to get them uploaded. I didn't look at them. Which is the junk slide, Toni?
Oh, Caroline, I'm not sure that. There it is. It's
That is the
bottom
one. That is the one.
It's the bottom one. It's not the. It's the bottom. Well, it's. If we could magnify what's in the bottom piece, I thought I had sent you it on its own.
I will sort that out. You start talking before
Yes,
you
well,
know it. Either Harry or I will make that happen.
Yes. Okay. So we're talking about. It's not just junk, but people maths. So what you will see in this slide when finally Harry or Caroline can get it on is people involved in actually doing the maths themselves. I mean, physically involved. And what you see, is there any way you can enlarge that, Caroline? Because what you see,
I'm going to
about what you see there. I mean, all that you see is the way to get through either the Aiming High website and or the app, how to get to our lesson resources. But at the bottom of that page, you'll see a picture which is too small for people to see at the moment. So if that could be magnified.
I'm working on it. I don't know how to do it on StreamYard, but I have created a picture. One of us, now we're competing. Harry and I are now competing to get to be the first one to support you as well as the best way we can now. Oh, screenshots, SC. My alphabet decided it wasn't going to be what I wanted it to be. Here we go, screenshot, open, Kerpow. It's uploading as we speak.
I've actually put it on WhatsApp for you.
Did you? Okay, well, it's there.
No, maybe I could do it.
Disappeared, but it's there.
Is it?
Isn't that the one, the low-cost manipulatives?
Yes. Yes, hallelujah. Okay, so, and the people on radio must be getting cross with us, Caroline, because they can't see it anyway. I mean, the people are only listening. So,
well, you can see beans, you can see lots of beans, and you can see scissors and string, and
okay. So I'm going to talk about some of the things in there. So at the bottom, there's a box, okay, and what it was in its former life was a cereal box, okay. But any box that you've got in your house that you've something has had something inside it, now it's empty. If you can carefully undo the box, all the joins in the cardboard that make up the box, and flatten it, you have the net. We call it net in mathematics. You have the net that makes the box, okay? And that I call turning a box inside out, because then you can remake the box with all the sort of stuff about cereals or whatever it is on the inside, and the plain cardboard on the outside. And you can close it up. It's got the flaps open at the top now, but you can close it up and you can get your cuboid. And not just cuboids. I mean, anything that crops up that's an unusual shape in the form of a box or something that I can unpick and make into a net, and then make into, make that up into a solid again for children to see how they can visualize by actually redoing it themselves. They can see how it all works. It's just a marvelous prop. It's a marvelous learning resource.
You've got the Toblerone bar that's a prism, a triangular prism, and then you can get hexagonal shapes.
Often cheese comes in a box that's actually a hexagonal prism.
And then the other thing to do is identify cubes, so you can get the learners to identify a cube which has every face is a square, versus a cuboid where every face is there are faces that aren't square. They could have some two faces.
And the advantage of having your blank object, which is nothing on the outer faces, is you can then start to write on the outer faces the name of the solid. So hexagonal prism or triangular prism are quite big names for the children to learn. But if they have these objects around and you've actually written the name on the outside and some of the properties of it as well, it's a reminder. It's a good reminder. So, and
if you're not sure what they're called, just send us a message. Put a comment on these, or on the Facebook page, AIMSEC Essay. And also we've got the Making Maths Fun for Kids of All Ages group, that you can join that and put questions in there if you've got any questions that you need answering.
Now, we do a fair amount of measuring, model making, and at the top you can see a newspaper stick. If you weren't sure what it was, it's on a wooden floor, but the long thing is a newspaper stick.
And it's a whole meter long.
And it's marked out, or you can mark it out. You need a small ruler to do it with, but you can mark it out into 10 centimeter lengths. And one of those lengths you can split the 10 centimeters into 1 centimeter lengths. And you've got a measuring stick. And children can make those sticks themselves. You can get a group, 2 or 3 children, to make their own, give them newspaper, make their own stick, and then go around measuring whatever's around. They can measure a sports pitch, or they can measure a room, or distance from here to there, or whatever they're interested in.
They can measure each other.
Yes, absolutely, their own heights. So
we used it as a fraction stick, Toni.
What?
We broke it up. We divided into fractions as well, different fractions.
Yes. So we actually call them counting sticks, because there are very many different ways that you can mark out these sticks. Yes, we've got some guidance for you on that if you want to use it. But just for measuring, it's very useful too. But what you see more or less in the middle there is some pictures of models, skeleton type models, and they're made with shorter paper sticks. What we do there is we make what we call stringy sticks, just paper sticks actually. And we do that by having a piece of string inside before we start rolling. And then there's some string sticking out at the ends, and we can tie the sticks together to make the models. And the children absolutely love doing that. And you can hang them up and sort of have a sort of washing line up near the ceiling of your classroom or your children's bedroom or wherever it is, and hang the models that they've made up from your string above their heads. So you can do lots of things with these paper sticks. And then you see the people standing in a circle, and what they're doing, that's what I called people maths just now. where everybody is joining in, and they represent some, between them, they're representing some statistical data. And there's a piece of string in the middle, pieces of string that are attached together in the middle, and they're making a human pie chart. And there's a little illustration of the human pie chart, and the little orange circles are people standing in a circle. And if you're just listening to this on radio, you can imagine a circle of people, and some of them are holding pieces of string, which start at each piece of string starts at the center of the circle and is held by one of the people in the circle. And so these pieces of string divide the circle up into sectors, as in a pie chart, and the area of each circle, or the angle at the center, shows some, you can do it almost any statistical, they can be favorite colors. So in this one, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, you've got 6 sectors. And so you could offer them 6 colors, and everybody chooses their favorite color. Then they make a circle, so that all the reds are together, and all the blues are together, and all the oranges. Where would you be, Caroline?
Let me think. I might be in the orange section.
I think you definitely would be.
And if there was no orange to choose from, I'd be out of there.
Okay. So you also see a pair of scissors, and you can, to draw circles, you can use any plate or anything that's, lots of things around that we can find that are actually circular. Bicycle wheels, another one. And in learning the mathematics about measuring or working out the circumference of this magic number pi, you can take a piece of string and wrap it round your circle, and then you can stretch it out, measure it, perhaps with your paper meter stick, and you can measure the diameter of the circle, and you do some maths with that. And I think the last thing there, and there's many more that are not in this picture, is some patterns made with beans.
Got and 1 minute left, Tony.
Yes, or you can use stones, and these patterns are in sequences, and they form numerical patterns if you count the number of beans or the number of stones in each pattern. And so you don't need counters, or you don't need counters for games. You can use something else that's cheap and easily available. So yes, so we do believe in it being fun to make your own manipulatives. They're called, things that you can do the activities with. It can be fun to make them, and also it doesn't cost much, and it's all part of the learning and enjoying learning.
Thank you so much, Tony. So that's all for this week. And next week we'll have got Mindset Monday at 4 o'clock London time, and Happy Maths Hour next week, playing games. So bring your fun hats and let's have some fun with games in a week's time.
And also look at the AIMSEC Facebook page, because there'll be a different game every day of the week.
As of today, as of yesterday, as of the day before yesterday. That's it. That's what there is now between now and after Christmas. Thank you very much for listening, everyone, and have a wonderful week.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye-bye.